All right, these goats are happy goats. They're getting some playtime in this morning, chasing each other around the yard here, ramming each other with their horns. So they need some play, just like we do, some playtime. And that's got me thinking about work-life balance. Work-life balance, which can be really a huge challenge. We need deep rest and deep recreation. We need to be able to settle our nervous systems. That's been something I've been focusing on a lot lately, settling my nervous system. Having had a recent bout with tinnitus, and doing a lot of research about that, I found out that they're discovering that it's really more about your nervous system and your brain, which there's an auditory cortex in your brain that it has to do with your hearing, but it's more about that than it is about your ears, or your, the traditional thing that is often said is that tinnitus is from the little hair cells in your ears are damaged or dying. And of course that's related to hearing loss, but not everybody who has hearing loss has tinnitus. Not everybody who has tinnitus has hearing loss. Okay, and then there are folks who have had a huge hearing loss, like almost a complete hearing loss, let's say in one ear, and they got tinnitus from the same acoustic trauma, right? The same noise that caused the hearing loss. They got hearing loss, they got tinnitus. And then they were able to work to settle their nervous system over time to heal the tinnitus. The hearing loss doesn't heal, but the tinnitus can. So hearing loss doesn't equal tinnitus. Damage to those little hairs doesn't equal tinnitus. The evidence doesn't support that. Okay? And so we need to settle our nervous system, and part of that is work-life balance, deep rest, deep recreation. And so the challenge, with that can be very real with chronic illness, because there are many people who sort of can't afford to be sick, they say. It's not only do people need deep rest and time off work when they're in an acute stage of a chronic illness, but they also need money, right? Oftentimes we need money to pay for out-of-pocket medical things. Almost all, really all, not even almost all of the doctors that I see, I pay for out of pocket completely. It costs way more than you do that. It's way more when you do that than like having a copay or something. And not to mention the products and things. Things like things like acupuncture and chiropractic care, things like that. You have a significant cost associated with them. So hold on, I got to get these goats on their leashes. I'm taking them out to eat. There's some food in here in our little area, but way more food out here in the back acre of the property where I'm gonna take them. Ooh, the sun is bright. That feels nice. It feels real nice. And so eventually we're gonna fence in this back acre, but for now I take them out to eat out here, and I put them on leashes and then kind of hang out with them. You can tie them off. I have various tie-offs that reach different areas of the yard, and then I just kind of, I hang out and keep an eye on them and move them around to the different areas to let them browse. Browsing is what it's called when goats eat, and you know that if you've watched any of my other videos, but so far not many people have. Some of them just have like 1 or 2 views on YouTube, but I feel like that kind of gives me the freedom to just express myself how I want to, and maybe eventually it'll catch on, maybe not, but the consistency part is cool. So hang on 1 second. Yeah, it's the consistency part. I like my work. I like my business. I like working on my online part of my business. Building community and getting feedback from people about the type of things they want from online coaching or counseling. And I enjoy all that. And I enjoy working. I enjoy having a vision for the future and working towards that. I enjoy being a mental health counselor in Hilo. And as much as I enjoy it, and I want to do more of it, I enjoy the rewards. I enjoy being able to have more financial freedom to do things for myself and my family. And so my tendency is to build up, to work more and more. And eventually I got to where I was basically working 7 days a week. And then I changed that because I burned out. It was too much for me with being someone who needs to take extra care of my health, because I've had a chronic illness. I've recovered from it, and yet I find that recovery does not last if I don't continue to participate in it. Like if I was just to go back to eating junk, I would be sick again. I'm certain of that. It would cause me symptoms, and so I have to be consistent with that. And yet I also need to play and rest deeply. And so I started making sure I take 2 days off a week. And I have certain days where I work more lightly. I'm not just, I also work with an individual who is intellectually differently abled and is autistic, and I spend time with him. So some of the days my work includes some recreation and things. We go to the beach, we go swimming, but it's like I still have to get up on those days. I really started to notice how different it was when I started to take 2 days off a week. I started to take 2 days off a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. And those days can shift around, because now I'm working every other Tuesday. But I could feel it. I could feel myself settle. I could feel like this, from having those 2 complete days off where I didn't have to get up early, didn't have to go do anything, and I was just off. And so I make sure I have that every once in a while. So I work like alternating Tuesdays, but right now, it's at least a couple times a month. I have two full days off, and so that's helpful to me, right? And it's just otherwise it's like I don't settle. And so that's something I'm exploring, is this balance between, I don't know if I like the term work-life balance, because work is part of life and play is part of life, and recreation and rest are part of life. So it's like, if the term implies that we have these 2 things, work and life, and they need to be balanced, maybe I'm misinterpreting that. Maybe that's not what it implies. Maybe it implies more of like the balance of your work within your life, within your whole life. And I would say my work includes all of life in a sense, because creating wellness, that's my work. Creating lasting wellness, well-being, and authentic relationships, those are core things to me. And those, wellness is a factor in everything we do. And everything we do factors into our wellness and our well-being every moment can be a factor. How are you breathing? How are you emotionally? How are you mentally? Are you forgiving yourself? Are you beating yourself up? Are you enjoying life? Are you just at the end of your rope? Are you somewhere in between? The sun is so bright. This hanging out with goats is deeply settling for me, to my nervous system. I can feel that. And so I guess making these videos is part of my work-life balance. For one thing, and I suggest everyone could benefit from this, I suggest, because we're all addicted to our phones. I'm just going to go ahead and say we all are. And what I'm doing is I'm doing this instead of consuming content. And so it's fun for me, and it's deeply restful, it's deeply therapeutic, hanging out with these goats and doing this video journaling. But it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge to get that deep rest and recreation that I need while balancing that with the work I need to do and want to do. During the holiday season, kind of late November, December, most of January, I took some time for deep rest and recreation. And I felt how much I needed that. And then yet, coming back from that, that became a big question for me. How will I fulfill this need for deep rest and recreation, even as I integrate back into being more busy and doing more things that I want to be doing? One of the things that maybe happens is that we streamline processes as we become more consistent with what we do. And I'm almost up to 100 videos on YouTube, and this in a way is a streamlining of my process, because I'm combining things. You know, instead of like making a video and then being like, oh, I didn't take care of the goats because I made a video, I'm doing both. What are ways that you make sure you get the rest and recreation that you need while accomplishing the activities that you want to accomplish? I'll tell you one thing that can be helpful is getting to bed early. Whoa! The goats just pulled on me really hard. Devin is over there putting some food into their area, and I guess they wanted to go over to her. Let's try to see if I can get her in the shot. Oh, there she is. Now she's going back out with the wheelbarrow to get another wheelbarrow full of food to put it in their area. Now, they sure got distracted from their eating when they saw her coming. Walk them over this way a little bit more. There's this one tree over here. Oh, that sun is so bright. A bird just flew over it. That's it's right in the middle of the screen. That is a loquat tree. It took me a second to think of the name. It's a loquat tree, and the goats love that. They love those loquats, and they even like the leaves off of it. So that can be fun. To feed them, they'll eat it right out of your hand. This table here that was grown over with grass, and they uncovered it. We bought this property. We're still working on it, obviously. They uncovered a few things when they were browsing out here. There's you can kind of see it right over there. There's a toilet. There's a toilet there that they uncovered. So we'll have to get that out of here. Cool, now they're eating again. It's kind of a challenge to get them as much food as they need. It's easier on sunny days like this. They can't really be out in the rain very much. They can a little, but you have to dry them off. Otherwise they can get hypothermia. And so, ooh, they're pulling. They're pulling on me. Let's go over this way. Let's let them go over and get the food they're trying to get at. It's so great. They clear off so much of the yard, and at the same time they are very therapeutic to be around. I can just feel their hearts, and it's just so calming to me being out here with them. Taking a breath, being present with them, even as there's dogs barking off in the distance and a teenager talking loudly to his mom. It's all okay. I'm just taking a deep breath and hanging out with these goats, listening to the sound of them chomping. It was great to see them playing this morning. They've been doing that several mornings lately. They were running around. I got a little bit of it on the video, but even before that, they were running around and ramming each other with their horns playfully. And to me, that's a sign that they're happy. They're happy. We had so much rain for a while, and we had like weeks and weeks where it was mostly cloudy or rainy most of the time in this part of the island. But you know, we have that weather. That's why things grow so green here. That's why things grow so green here. You know, we have things grow year round. Things just grow year round. You prune things and they just come back. So these goats are like our lawnmowers. Literally. I think they pay for themselves in cutting grass. So yeah, what does your work-life balance look like? What does it feel like when you're burned out? You know? How do you recover from that? What are ways that you can streamline things so that you can build some play into your work, some deep rest into your work? One of the things that I like to do is build in some energetic reboots, you might call it, into the work day. And so, you know, every hour, let's say, you could build in a certain number of little breaks, little 2-minute breaks, little 5-minute breaks, where you do some energy, breath, and movement. You know, you do some yoga, or you just do a little breathing meditation. You know, let's say every 15 minutes or every 25 minutes, or you know, whatever kind of period of time works for you in your working. Take 2.5 minutes, take 5 minutes. Set a timer. You know, every 15 minutes, every 25 minutes. Do a little energetic reboot. Do some leg lifts for 2.5 or 5 minutes. Do some crunches for 2.5 or 5 minutes, or do some yoga. Go from downward facing dog to cobra pose several times, and then up to standing and down to forward bend, and then downward facing dog, and then cobra again. You know, do that for 2.5 minutes or 5 minutes, and then back to your working, so that you build this recharging of your nervous system, this relaxing into your body moving your body so that your body experiences that sense of recharge and recreation at little intervals, even throughout your work. Sometimes if I have a half hour between clients, that's what I'll do. And so even as I'm talking with you about these ideas, I'm exploring them for myself, and then I hope that'll be helpful. Maybe we have some online co-working sessions, where we just work in silence together, just to help motivate each other. And then we can have the timer going, and we can work together on taking those little energetic reboots throughout the day. Look at Pan here, she's so cute. So I hope this is helpful. By the way, I'm Tom Kirkham, and I'm here on Big Island, Hawaii. I'm a mental health counselor in Hilo, Hawaii, and my specialization is in consciousness, spirituality, and integrative health. I focus a lot on helping people change their habits to change their life, helping people with addictions, also helping people with relationships. And more. And I'd love to hear your comments. I love getting comments. I love getting feedback from people. If you want to comment below and on your process and your questions, you're welcome to do that. If you want to message me privately, if you don't want to comment publicly, you're welcome to do that also. And I'd love to hear from you. What kind of help are you seeking? What could someone like a counselor do that would help you with your work-life balance? Maybe you'd like to come to a retreat and do therapeutic work with goats. I don't know. So I hope this is helpful, and look forward to your comments, and hope to have you join me on the next video too. Aloha.